Hello, this is Dr. Young. I'm going to go over your assignments for this week. Sorry, I'm going to have to drink in between because my throat's kind of dry. So, okay, so let's go over your week 2 work now. Well, let's start here. For your group projects, make sure to go here in the group study area. Sorry, got my computer all wonky over here. Okay. Yeah, here are the groups, so you can find your group. Start working on that. And I'm going to go over basically what you're going to work on. But I wanted to just kind of go and show you that those have been assigned. It is a little bit late because I was on, the holiday and everything. So, week two. Let me just get there. And I've graded your week 1 work. Okay, so for week 2, you got a discussion. And this is about decision making this week. We're really going to focus on that. I heard that this video wasn't coming up, so let me just go there and see if it does. Oops. It does not. So I'm not the only one that's having trouble. Or, you're not the only one. Some of the students have already talked to me about saying that there was some issues, so I'm going to... move it somewhere else. Oh, there it is. I wonder why. So the syllabus needs, the link isn't working. But here it is. So just go here. Sorry you all, it's just, I don't know what happened there. I guess the link changed? I don't know. But anyway, it's on YouTube. Just search for it that way. But that is the video. Okay. For your discussion, though, you're going to provide a scenario where you or a manager that you are familiar with made a decision. So you have to kind of go back and sit, go back and try to think of a situation you can use here. And then you're just going to follow through these here. What was the situation? What was the decision? What were the results? And then you're going to kind of look, based on the readings that you, excuse me, the readings for this week and your lecture, you're going to, you're just going to go through this process is what you're doing, really. You're going to basically talk about what decision you would make. Then you're going to kind of differentiate between the decision that was made by whoever whatever situation you come up with, and then how you would have handled it. I'm sorry. And then describe the decision-making style of you and your manager in that situation, and then the biases that can affect the process for both. So this is stuff you're going to be reading about as well this week in your text. So you're just basically applying what you've learned to a real-life scenario. And there's different decision-making techniques you're going to read about, so that's something you're going to want to address for 6. But you can see, just go through this process here. Okay. Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. is the first initial post, and the other responses, which should be 2, are due Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. You have a quiz, 1 attempt, 60 minutes, 20 multiple choice questions. And then your project, which is part of your team. Wait a minute, you have a paper too, so a lot going on this week. Lots of work. So this one is basically a 1-page paper with the name of your team members, which are in the group study area right here. So you're going to go over there, talk to your team, come up with a manager. You're going to select a manager that will be interviewed. So you're going to have to it's kind of like a proposal of, this interview proposal here. where you're going to tell me why you select that team leader. So the team leader, the team leader, the name of the company, and just kind of tell me why. Explain why you chose that manager, and really that's it. Right here are some guiding questions you might want to take a look at for the interview, because that's what you're going to do later is interview. It's pretty straightforward. Interviewing can seem daunting, but it's not that bad. What you're going to do here is just send the proposal in of what you want to do. Basically, you're telling me what you're going to do, who you're going to interview, why you want to interview that person, what you're going to do. Okay. Sorry again, I had to take a drink because my throat's kind of sore. I don't know why, but it's not the time for a cold, you would think, but it still happens and still going around in my family. So, paper, omnipotent and symbolic views. So for this one, this is an individual paper, just like you did last week. We put it in the Dropbox, the digital Dropbox. Identify 2 managers, and so one with an omnipotent point of view, and another with a symbolic point of view. And that's something you're reading about in your course materials this week. So there's differences, and what you want to do is you want to compare and contrast the omnipotent manager with the symbolic. So, the omnipotent point of view, the manager feels that they're directly responsible for an organization's success or failure. And the symbolic view, the manager would feel they only have a limited effect on the outcomes because there's a lot of things out of their control. So that's basically, I'm just kind of giving you an overview of that. So tell me how that, because that's going to make a difference on the actions that manager will take in that organization. So, based on that, what are those different actions? And which one do you think works better for managers and why? Now, this is a 1 to 3 page paper. I mean, that's a big range. Obviously, if you're going to write 3 pages of, if you're on the 3 page end, you're probably going to get a better grade than the 1 page because it's going to be, pretty substantive. That doesn't mean you would fail with 1 page if it's a really good page, but I would probably err on the side of more content, because if you're really going to explain this well, I mean, you're going to probably have more than 1 page, honestly. So just something to keep in consideration. And this is all, we use Turnitin, so please keep that score down. It needs to be low. So, oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot to mention with the team project, you're selecting the manager so that the selection is 0.25% of the total grade. Then, the final group project, the final product is 29.75% of the total grade. So, you don't need a title page for this one either. And if you have a copy of any kind of document or anything that says the email or anything that says the manager will accept the invitation for, to be interviewed for the project, please include that as well. And I forgot to tell you that, and I apologize. That's really all. And if you have any questions or concerns, let me know. And you will, as we move along, probably, and that's fine, of course. I mean, again, just get with your teams this week and decide who you're going to interview. That's pretty much, and why. Just, that's all you're doing, really. Now, I don't, as far as the interview process, let's just talk a little bit about the actual project. The final one, the big one here. Here we go. Interview of a manager. So, and I'm probably going to make a video about this in a little bit more detail later on. But just to give you kind of a big picture of what you're doing, just instead of giving you that little piece of it. You're going to, and those questions up there, the little attachment for week 2 gives you kind of some leading questions. You don't have to ask just those questions. You can ask other questions as well. But, someone's going to want to interview and take notes, and then basically as a team you need to kind of probably share those notes and kind of decide who wants to write what part or whatever. Because it's a Word document. It's one paper. There is a limit, believe it or not, page limit. And then there's the guiding questions, but probably, I don't know if how you're going to interview. You could interview any way you want to, really. You can interview in person, but you could also have a virtual interview. You could have a Skype interview. You could interview in person. You can have someone answer the questions, but you all have to work on the paper. So there's going to be, the information from the interview, and you'll all have to kind of decide what you're going to write and which, who wants to take what part of the paper. What do you want to say about this whole interview process? Because basically, here you are getting that person's opinions and perceptions about the topics. And so the guiding questions will help you with that, but you can also add more if you want to. And the key here is kind of like that manager's going to have their own opinions about different things taught in the course. And, maybe sometimes that manager will say, no, I don't think I don't believe in that theory of management, or it doesn't, I don't follow that one. I don't think it's effective, whatever. I mean, hopefully they'll give you some good information as kind of critiquing maybe some of the questions that, they might answer them in a way that you wouldn't think they would, and that way you can bring that up in your paper. Maybe what their philosophy of managing is different than what you're learning in the course. That's fine as well, because it's really not a one-size-fits-all thing anyway. I mean, it depends on the business environment that they're in. I mean, there's so many factors that, that can affect how one manages, right? So it makes a big difference. It just depends on what it is, very often situational. Anyway, so that's all I want to say about that. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. We will get into that in more detail as far as specifically what I'm looking for, as far as, when the final document, what I want, some of the content pieces I want to see, going over the guiding questions in a little bit more detail. We'll cover that later. But I just figured, I'm just going to give you kind of a broad overview of the whole thing. That's really all there is. It's basically this week 2 piece where you're just identifying and sending like a proposal, and then to me saying this is who I want to interview and here's why, and then the rest of it's in week 8. So that's really all there is. If any other questions or concerns, let me know, and have a great week. Thanks. Bye.